Join me in pausing for a second as we step into an alternate universe, one where our leaders actually took their oath of office to the Constitution seriously, one where they really cared about us and our security and our freedom. If we were living in this world, they would shut down secret FISA courts and stop three-letter agencies like the NSA, FBI, and CIA from illegally spying on Americans. They would denounce the Attorney General of the United States for his disgraceful attacks on American parents like those from Loudoun County and across the country who are concerned for their children's education. I got to say a quick hello to the parents here. I've had the privilege of spending some time with the amazing parents from across the country and parents defending education, many of whom have never been involved in politics before. But now they are in the trenches, standing up and fighting for their kids, fighting against boards of education and politicians who believe that parents don't have the right to raise their own children. In this different world, our leaders would haul James Clapper before a judge to answer for his lies to Congress about how the government's collecting information from all of our phone records. And they would support the Durham investigation into Clinton corruption in 2016 and beyond and make sure that those responsible are held accountable. But this isn't the world we live in. They're not going to do this. Instead, they're doubling down and they're cracking down. This power elite operation to crush freedom of speech is the enemy attack from within, and it threatens the very core of our democratic republic. It's a complete betrayal of the vision that our founders had for this country, and it is a direct attack on the mission laid out in the Declaration of Independence, where instead of a government ordained to secure these rights, we now face a government determined to take them away. This is not hyperbole. Think about the impact of this from a practical perspective. How can we vote, let's say, to choose a president when we do not have the freedom to actively participate in the marketplace of ideas? We don't have the freedom to share our opinion, to listen to other perspectives, to ask questions, to challenge the establishment narrative, and then assess, consider our options, and make our own informed decisions about who we want to take on that awesome responsibility and serve this country as commander-in-chief. We can't do this as long as we live in a society that's filled with intimidation and fear of being targeted, of being canceled, being intimidated into self-censoring just because we don't want to lose our jobs so that we can provide for our families. And this is the point. What makes it even worse is they're saying they're doing it for us. They're saying that they want to protect us people from being exposed to misinformation, which really reveals how they actually feel about us, how little they respect the American people. That what they're saying is, you know what, you're too stupid to think for yourself, to discern for yourself, to make your own decisions, so big government knows better for you than you do for yourself. This is authoritarianism. Yeah, I agree. This is authoritarianism. It is not freedom. It is not a democratic republic. And by rejecting our Bill of Rights, they have rejected our Constitution and therefore are the greatest threat to our republic. And therein lies the hypocrisy of the Biden-Clinton neocon, neo-lib establishment foreign policy of misusing our military men and women by sending them out to be the policemen of the world, overthrowing dictators we don't like while turning a blind eye to the ones that we do, all in the name of spreading democracy and defeating autocracy. but they're hypocrites. They proclaim that we must go to war to spread democracy and freedom while they actively work to undermine our democratic republic and our freedoms right here at home. And they use crises, emergencies, times of war, whether it's a Cold War or a hot war, to embolden the security state and infringe on our liberties and rights. We saw it with the Patriot Act. We saw it with COVID. We're seeing it happening now in the name of democracy as, again, our government works with big tech to censor misinformation about what's going on with Russia's war with Ukraine. Once our rights are taken away, the government does not willingly give them back. So what do? Each of us in our own way and together must take a stand to protect our freedoms and rights, make our voices heard, hold our leaders accountable, force our leaders in Washington to take their oaths to uphold the Constitution to heart and take action. Pass legislation that restores and protects our freedoms and liberties. I tell you, I served in Congress for 8 years. Right now, there are too many Democrats and Republicans, some who you might have heard from this week, who talk a good game about civil liberties, but when it comes time to cast that vote on things like getting rid of secret FISA courts and protecting our Fourth Amendment rights to privacy, they vote on the side of the power elite and against liberty. But as we look forward, we can take heart in knowing that our path will be lit by the fire of freedom that burns brightly in the hearts of Americans in every community, every home, every church, every classroom, all across this country, in small towns and in big cities, where we have decided that we belong to no one but God. We are not subjects or slaves of those who govern. And by God's grace, we are free. And we will fight to remain free. Thank you so much for having me here today. May God bless you. May God bless America. Aloha.